As we're laying back comfortably, let your body have a couple of really good deep breaths. Like a good sense of excitement about movement, feeling good with our body. Happy to just get to be here together. To get to move, to get to stretch, to get to feel good. So if you've been to my classes before, you know I like to choose a little intention for our class. So what I was thinking of for today's class is helping our body to find a balance between upper body and lower body. A lot of times we're really strong, especially if you're a woman like me, you're really strong in your legs, but not so strong in your arms. And you're really flexible in some areas, but not other areas. We tend to have our areas of really tremendous tension. So in our class today, the hope and goal is to balance both. And imagine that the upper body represents kind of like the enlightenment, or just like the goals that we search for, the true meaning of life type of stuff. And imagine the lower body represents manifestation, bringing amazing things about in our physical bodies or in the physical world. And imagine by us creating that balance between upper body, lower body, focusing on both, we're helping to combine and to have a good balance between both that enlightenment and the manifestation. So with that fun little idea to rest in the back of our mind, we'll begin to take some of our initial movements as we start to stretch the arms all the way to the back wall. Watch out for any nearby hands or feet, but just like take nice little wiggles to the right, then shoulders to the left. Just give that a couple of good rounds. This starts to get us into the ribs, the shoulders. One of those stretches that feels really good as our body is getting more used to movement today. Good. So as we come back through the center, let's hug hands around the right knee. Sometimes I'll do a couple of toe circles, just circling around the ankle. And sometimes I focus more on that hip flexor, get in super, super tight. Good. Let's just take another beautiful inhale. Yeah, exhale. Leg up to sky. Get that first stretch up into the hamstring. Another tremendous breath for the side. Okay, this one sometimes trips people up the first time, but all we're doing is hooking our right foot to the back left part. It makes it so that when we hook the foot, we can just slide the shin in. It's a good hip opener. So just hook it all the way over. Right foot to the back left part. Look at the other people nearby. If you're confused, look at your mirror, whatever is useful. Just continue to slide that shin in. This should get us into that right hip. Let's take another huge inhale. Nice exhale. Then we'll take this right leg back up to sky and then each stretch before we drop it down. From there, left knee into the chest. Hug it tightly, maybe do some of those ankle rolls. When you're ready for hamstring, let this leg go all the way up. Send some really good deep breaths through your body. And start to hook this left heel to the back right part. It's the part that's by the ears. Hook it, slide the shin in, left hip open. I love to do these initial movements at the beginning of every class just because this helps us to get into some of the major muscle groups of the body. Already things are feeling a little bit better than they were. Another inhale. Exhale, leg freeze out, finish touch up to sky. And drop it all the way down. We'll come up to sit, so kick the feet free off the front, grab on, sit all the way up. And let's invert. So inversions are when we go upside down. Note already that you don't have to stay as long as anybody else. Just listen to your body. When your head and your body wants you to flip back up, that's okay. So for this first one, just hook your thumbs onto the back edge by your hips. The goal is to keep the fabric right about at your pant line or sometimes slightly lower. So I like to push it there down to that hip area. And then when I lean back, I lock it in place there. So hands can grab back on. So once we're here, the last step is you continue to tilt back, legs go wide. That means that you won't fall out. The ankles can wrap around. As soon as you're there, you're safe to let go. Let's give your spine some time to hang. It's up to you. Some people will turn this into an exercise by doing some nice punches. Other people just want this chance to let their spine be really long. So often as we go through our life, our spine gets more and more compressed as we go. So this is a chance for it to get longer. You go into it and it's a little tight around your hips. Sometimes that's a sign, okay, readjust exactly where it's resting. So come out and then push it a little deeper. If it feels good, you're good to go. Grab onto the spot by your side when you're Yeah. If your head starts to do that, that's just, it takes some time to get used to it. So you'll just hook your elbows and lean forward for a little while. A floating child pose. You can always come back out, come back into it a couple of times while others are still enjoying the inversion. But don't feel like you're gonna black out or anything. Obviously get out before that point. So it's more about using your thumbs to really push it down far before you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and kind of lean back simultaneously as you get it down. Yeah. That's it. Yep. Lean back right away. Nope. It's like an art. Yeah, use your core for sure. Yep. Kind of do like this like curved core. Yep, that was it. Not too bad. Okay. So give it about another minute or so for those that are still hanging. Those that have come up, start to ease into some neck tension. Start to just let your head roll over to the right. And head roll over to the left. Still upside down, start to head your way back up and out. When you feel like you can sit up safely, clasp your hands behind your back. And then shift your hands over to the right hip. So from there, drop the right ear over the right shoulder. That should help the left shoulder and the left part of the neck get a really good stretch. This is a focus for a moment on the upper body. Good breaths right here. And when the head comes back up, shift the hands over to the left hip, then left ear over left shoulder. That should be stretching right shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, head up, hands can release. You're gonna take a twist. So everybody grabs the fabric to the front door side. Once you've got the fabric bunched up to that side, the shoulder that's toward the back wall, the mountain wall, that shoulder opens up to that side. You can circle the hand around the head if that feels better than just stretching the arm up. Nice little spinal twist to that direction. Good, one more inhale. Exhale, release. We'll take it to the second side. So bunch up the fabric to the back door. And then the back shoulder, the one closer to the mountains again, is the one that opens or circles around the head. One more good inhale. Exhale. And then bunch up the fabric to the side that will face you to me. So this back door side of the room switch, everybody else stays the same. With the hands bunched up, we're gonna lock the arms straight. That gives this hip a little bit of space so that that leg can swing all the way up and over. Again, locking the arm straight gives you that space, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time the first couple of hours. Looking at it. Like that. That's okay, that's okay, you can still make it. Okay, whenever you get there, get both heels inside, legs extending out nice and long. So it's just the part of the fabric that was underneath the knee originally. Good. We want to make sure we're trying to sit up as tall as possible. So if you're super rounded back, what you can do to readjust is grab up high, lift up the hips briefly, and then you'll reset back down, usually quite a bit taller. So then one hand on the outer fabric to each side so that you can press the legs out super wide. Again, still engage the core, trying to sit up tall. Good, let's slide the right hand down the right leg, left hand up and over. Nice good stretch. And rising up. Slide the left hand down the left leg, right arm up and over. And rising up. Good. So we're going to come up to stand all the way inside. With this one, we do want the toes of both feet all the way in, and you want your foot pretty much close to the edge of the fabric. So get that reset. It doesn't matter what the rest of the leg is doing, but just get your toes in and your feet close to the end of the fabric. When you've got that set up, we're going to set up a mini squat. So our knees start to push out to the outside of the fabric. Our heels are sliding into the glutes. So again, knees out. That'll help you out later. So I'll kind of use my elbows and my shoulders to get the knees out. Good. So once you're there, the fabric that's in front of you, grip onto it, gripping as high as you can. And then slide your feet right up your body. So this is our mini squat. Good. The knees should definitely be out. Knees are not out yet. Go ahead and try again. Good. Group up even higher and then come all the way to stand. It's okay, you'll turn around in just a moment, get your head free, and you'll be good. There you go, underneath you. Keep your legs squeezed together, that'll help you. And get your head free. Good, good, good. Yeah, grip super high, lock your legs straight, squeeze your legs together. There you go, that's what that'll do, it helps you. Okay, so we're all gonna face toward the mirror. So the shoulder that's currently closer to the mirror, that shoulder has to swing all the way behind. That way we can face the mirror side. Okay, we've got each arm grabbing on the fabric. So from here, let's take a split. Front leg forward, back leg backward. Good, take one more inhale. Exhale. And then as we start to bend the back knee, lower to kneel on the back knee. Front leg goes nice and straight. And what we're gonna do is shimmy our hips backwards until we're sitting on the back foot. And once we're here, lean forward over that front straight. So I see that one or two of you are not quite sitting on the back foot. Sometimes the hips get kind of stuck. So you kind of have to just shimmy back until you're literally sitting directly on that back. Good. So grab up high, just lift your hips back up. That's okay, we'll do you in just a moment if you get lost. Kneel on the back knee and then you can sit on the back foot. Shimmy them back past that step fabric so you're sitting on your back. There, you got it. Okay, so one more breath right here. Then we're gonna head to a nice pigeon pose. This is kind of like a good leg section of class. So to head to pigeon, grip up high, come back up to a kneeling position. So once you're kneeling on your back knee, swivel the front knee out to the side, and then send the front leg forward and the back leg back, pigeon pose. So if you stay inside the chest, you'll be in a back bend. So this is called king pigeon. If you want to be in a forward fold, free out the shoulder that's over your front toes, and then just start to lean forward. Still be across your shoulder like a seatbelt. God. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale. And then roll your weight onto that front hip. Swivel both legs back open to that wide figure V shape. Okay, so we're gonna go for the second side. Usually it gets easier the more repetitions we do it. So as you start to bring the feet closer, get the feet set up in that perfect spot. Toes are inside, the feet are close to that edge. And then we need to start popping the knees out. Grip up high, come to the low squat. Knees go coming all the way out. We're balancing like a little toe squat. Okay. Once you get to this spot, grip up even higher. Then just press into the legs or stand up. Squeeze your legs together, that'll help you out. Good. Okay, so now we're gonna face to the back wall. So the shoulder that's currently to the back wall, that one needs to swivel around. Gripping on each side, and then front leg goes forward, back leg goes back. Good. Take another inhale. Exhale. then start to drop onto the back knee. Once we're there, shimmy your hips back so you can sit on your back foot. And then slide the arms forward so you're stretching over that straight back leg. Go with about 3 more good deep breaths. Okay, so after the 3, both hands grip up high so that way we can lift our hips back over that back knee. We're kneeling again. Front knee swivels out to the side. And then we send the front leg forward, the back leg back, pigeon pose. Hands stay inside. Yeah, so keep the leg inside the fabric when it swivels up. That's it, yeah. Okay, if you're trying out a shoulder, I do the one that's closer to the front toes. That keeps a seatbelt over my chest. Safely in. All sorts of muscle groups stretching out for us. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale. Rock your weight onto the front hips, swivel the legs back open, widen your feet. Good, so we've been focusing largely on the hip area. Let's take just a moment for hamstrings. So free both feet out. And then we're gonna end up with both legs onto the center of the fabric in front of us. So instead of wide, the legs are gonna go up this time. So the way I get into it is I take one hand in front of me like a stop sign, and I push into the fabric that's in front of my face. So that's the placement. So then take your opposite foot up exactly where your hand is. And then when you get set the first one up, it's easy to just place the second. Once you have both legs there, start to straighten the legs up as much as your body can. You need to make it easier because this is intense. Push your heels into the fabric. That'll make it easier. If your body can relax into it, try to let more and more and more muscle groups relax. If you're rocking like crazy, grab the fabric behind you and kind of pull wide as you like put back into it for a moment. Yeah, you'll learn eventually there's ways to approach things kind of using the core, and that tends to make it less pre-rough. Let's take maybe 3 more breaths through this spot. Let's nice big hamstring stretch. Our inhale. Exhale. And both feet get freed off to the nearer side. Shift your hips left and right. Facing back forward. And we'll take a vampire pose. Those that have been to many classes that are comfortable with vampire, go ahead and go into it. Those that are newer, just watch first. I'll show you what we're doing first. So you take the fabric that's behind your head. You find the end of it. And then you'll take just one good thin layer to completely cover the shoulders. You don't want any more than that one thin layer because otherwise it pushes into the neck. So then your elbows are gripping the rest of the fabric, pushing that excess into the waist. And then you'll lay back. You should have a bunch extra at the waist. So from there, you need to take that excess from the waist down to the feet. So when you start to get the feet into the other end of the fabric, you'll need to lift the hips up before you straighten the legs out, and that will take that excess down. So from here to head upside down, all you have to do is grab up high, left and right. Hike the feet up, pressing the feet out into the fabric. I even kind of turn my toes out so that way they're locked in place. Then just by pressing out, you can rise at the same time. Okay? So again, one thin layer over shoulders, lay back. If there's a bunch of excess towards this upper body part, you need to start sending some of the fabric down to the lower part. Okay, so once you're there, hands grip up left and right. That bunches up some of the fabric. That bunched up fabric is going to be what you push your feet into. So your feet have to come all the way to that back end above the hands. Turn the toes out and push up to rise. Come all the way upright into a complete shoulder step. Squeeze out, up, up. So this one's an upper body focus. A lot of them that we've been doing have been lower body, so this one's a good upper body one because the weight of our body is on the shoulders. It's a really good massage for that shoulder. Here. That's how we go. So same rule as before, you're listening to your body, not a competition. Be there as long as anybody else. It's about you listening to your body for how long this inversion feels good in your system. So when you are eventually ready to come out, just rest in a Shavasana for a little while. There's no rush though. Those that want to be upside down, you're welcome to be a bit longer. You can bring the head back in if you like how that feels. It looks like we've got everybody out. So this is a resting spot. Your goal is to keep on tuning into the body. Keep on doing this recovery pose as long as you need to for it to feel like your blood pressure and your circulation is kind of back to normal. When you feel like you're good, you think you could move on, you'll help me know that you're doing that by starting to work your way up to a seated place. That'll be kind of your indication to let me know that everything's good, I'm ready to go. No rushing anybody out that feels like they still need the time. Sometimes, literally, some people might just stay here another 5 minutes or so because their body's like, I feel a little dizzy, I just need to lay, and that's okay. So don't ever feel rushed out. If ever you need to stay past when we're, like when everybody else goes on, don't ever feel bad about it. It's you listening to your body, and that's the best thing you could ever do. So it looks like we're all pretty much here. If you're feeling good, let's work our way to standing. So grab the fabric, just lift the hips right up and out. We're gonna focus now on the upper body for a moment. We're gonna do a little bit of arm strengthening. So with the fabric staying over the shoulders, kind of like a backpack, you're gonna circle the hands through the side and up around the head, and then circle again. So usually I do 2 reps before I grip on. Note that gripping lower, closer to the shoulders, will be easy for those that have real difficulty with arm strength. Higher makes you go harder because you have to lift a lot higher. So either way, what we're gonna do is just work the arms. So some of us might just be popping up and down a little bit, kind of just up, down, the best that you can. Some of us might be doing a full pull-up or even a flexed arm hang. So just do what you can do for your arms for a little while, and we'll take a minute or so. I like to give my fingers a little break, kind of in between different reps. So just open, close, and go. Keep the breath going though, especially if you're in the flexed arm hang, where you just keep breathing because the body wants to just like hold it. So instead, let it flow. If you're doing the hops, maybe take 3 more. If you're doing the flexed arm hang, maybe take 1 more. You guys are doing awesome. Whenever you finish that last one, go ahead and shake your hands. Yeah, you can always do water breaks with me too. Where we are eventually headed next when you're ready is heading back to take the fabric under our shoulder blades. And then we need to walk back to take all the slack out. And we're gonna work our hips back forward right on the thumb line. So once we're there, release the weight of your core for a moment so that your spine can just get to drop down. Good. I like to have the feet far enough forward that the knees can be at least 90-degree angle. Good. So we'll take a hip opener for just a moment. Take the right ankle up to the left side. And then just keep this right knee and the right hip just dropping open and down. So as much open as that right hip can handle. One more good inhale. Exhale. And drop right foot down. Left ankle comes up, feel it rotate open. Good, dropping the foot down. I'm gonna show you where we're headed next. So just take a little break for your armpit area just by straightening the legs. We'll give it a couple of practice rounds because this might be the first time for many people in here doing this. So we'll do a few practice rounds, but ultimately when we're gonna use this as a sequence, we're gonna actually face away from the mirror so that way when you do the flip thing that we're talking about, it'll face you to the mirror. So just watch for this first one and then we'll get a couple of practice rounds. The idea is back under the thumb line. You need to swing the feet up, hooking the feet to one side. So obviously my knees are kind of the hook point because my glutes have to stay to one side and my feet together so I don't fall out. Once you've got the feet hooked, you're gonna slide until you're sitting. Okay, so we're gonna try that a few times. So you can practice one time with the right, one time with the left, but we start off with the shoulder blades hooked. We're right under thumb line. You pike the feet up, even if just one foot hooks, that's okay. And then you can get the second foot to hook. Good. Then on the one side, both knees off to the one side. And then you'll start to shift your weight onto the sitting. Yeah, we have one winner, that counts. And that's okay, don't worry. Yes. Get both knees in there. Yep. Yep. And And then just kind of start to swivel your way around until you're sitting, just like a sweet horse. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it. Hold the hips. Good. And then start to walk your hands up until you're in a sweep. I know, it's super comfy. And then just pivot your arms around, grip one foot on each side, and you're sitting. You got it! That's okay, that's okay. If you feel like you get stuck, that's okay. Don't worry, there's another way to get into the sequence itself. If you feel like you don't quite get it, I'll show you the moment when you can jump in with me. So now to actually go into the sequence, face away from the mirror. So do the same thing. You've got the shoulders hooked. Come back under plumb line. You're hooking one or both feet, and then ultimately both feet to one side. You choose. Once you've got it hooked, pull yourself up to a swing.
Did I just give him a swing?
Yeah, you can just go this way. Yeah. So you should walk your hands up the side that your hands are on. Yeah, you don't bend your knees.
Here, I think.
Yep. And then you'll just kind of grab onto each side and you're there. But turn your shoulders around. Yep, you made it. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, slide. I think around here.
Awesome. Okay. So, good work. No matter what amount of success we had, good work. So now as we start to kind of shift our hips backward, keep the right knee in, step the left foot behind. So this is the easy point where you can just join in. So just right hand. Okay. There. Yep. Facing to mirror, right leg inside. We made it. Okay. So hands up nice and high. Just sink your hips forward. It should be a nice deep stretch to the front of that left hip or the left calf. Good. And let's take our weight back over our standing leg. Let's slip down to ankle. Some people just like to slide the hands down, getting the heart closer to the thigh. Some people like to take split, sliding the hands up, sinking the weight forward. So your preference. Good work. So weight back. Now bend the knee out to the side, depending on how tight your hip is. And by the way, if you're super far behind plumb line, go ahead and hop up close to the plumb line again. So some people like to just lean the head inside and start to shift some weight forward. That can be enough. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you'll grip up high as you start to sink your weight forward. That'll be a lot more of an intense, kind of like a fidget pose. Choose your hip opener. Good. Weight of our body over standing leg again. Now slip it all the way down to this right foot. The arch of the foot is stepped right into the center. Let's do a little bit of that arm strengthening again. So gripping up high, we're gonna come up and down 5 times. So if you keep the knee bent, that'll make it easier. Leg straight makes it more about arm strength. So you choose, but take an inhale, prep. Exhale, come up, 5, and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So then free out your leg. Let's do a little shoulder stretch for each side. So right arm across your body and left arm hooks it in. Little stretch. Circle that right arm all the way up and back. And return. Good. Left arm across. Like you're tracing a rainbow, left arm travels up and back. And return. Good work. Okay. So starting back to that figure 4 hip opener, you're gonna face away from me. So flip around for a second. Take the fabric under shoulder blades. Walk yourself under plumb line. And then right ankle to left side. Get the hip a couple good breaths, right? Good. Right foot to floor, left ankle up. Okay, as we drop the foot down, we're going to do another attempt at that flip. So grip up high, swing up, hooking the feet to one side. And then the side that your hands are on, walk your hands up high. Start to pivot around until you're sitting. Like there's a point where your shoulders just have to flip around. Yeah, you're so close. Core strength. Yeah. Core strength to get that height. Yep. Yeah, good work. Great job. Okay, whether or not we're here, we're gonna end up with the left thigh inside, the right foot out. So if you're in the swing, slide back with your hips a little bit and then just step the right foot out. Otherwise, just stand behind and get your right thigh or your left thigh in. Okay, so hands up high. I like to avoid the death grip here after my hands had such hard strength. So just a flat hand placement and then hips start to sink forward. Good. Grabbing on, weight comes back, taking it to hamstring. So slip down to the ankle, either slide down and lean forward or slide up and split forward. Good. Weight of the body over the standing leg. If you're super far behind plumb line, hop back forward. And then bend the knee out to the side, hip opener. Maybe head goes through and we lean forward, or maybe hands go up and we have the little back bend as we go forward. One more inhale, exhale, weight of the body back, over standing leg, slip the arch of the left foot onto the fabric, gripping up high, try to go up and down 5 times. If it was easy before, maybe try the straight leg. If you need the extra help of your leg strength, bend the knee in. Gripping up high, take an inhale, press, exhale, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, one way or another, we're gonna get stronger. 1, good work. Go ahead and step on out, maybe shake the hands for a moment. Let's wrap up with a good inversion. This one's super similar to the very first one where the fabric just has to go behind our hips. And then we head backwards. Remember, the trick is legs go wide. That makes sure that you don't fall out before you wrap the legs. So you'll take the fabric, right? This time instead of sitting in it, we're just taking the whole thing right up to that cat line. For me, it's I think of like the sacrum or like right across the butt crack. If it's too high, it tends to get uncomfortable. Also, you don't want to be sitting on it. So nice that equal spot. 1 foot steps back. So get the whole thing gathered up. I see some people with just part, whole thing gathered up. So hands go all the way behind. So switch, have your hands all the way through and then grip. So all the way behind and then grip. Yep, that'll help you out. Otherwise, it's your fingers that are trying to get stuck. So, okay, so here we are again, 1 foot back. Bend the knees, and this will be what helps to lock the fabric in place. So the core is still super tight and super curled in, then tiptoe forward until you're under front line. So from here, kind of simultaneously, hands up, knees wide, and then feet wrap.
Oh, straddle back, right?
Straddle back.
Straddle back.
Good. And if this is ever too intense for somebody today, you can always come back to sit inside and do that variation that we started class with. So those that kind of want to come in and out a few times, that's perfectly fine. Those that just want to hang for a little while or do crunches, anything like that, that's fine. Sometimes I'll even take a nice little spinal twist, kind of walking one hand to the top of the mat, like the back of the mat, and then switching. So you've got all sorts of variations. Ultimately, when you're satisfied, you'll take the nice recovery pose for a little while, just leaning back. But again, like I said, you're welcome to come in and out for a little while. Just kind of enjoying your free time to play. Come under palm line. Beautiful. I love seeing people get more and more used to the fabric as you go through class. It's like the first moment, sometimes people are afraid, they're like, can the fabric hold me? And that trust starts to grow through class, and it's just a fun thing to see. So with this being the last in person of the day, I'm not going to rush anybody out. Anybody that wants to hang, just hang. Literally, you could be here another 2 or 3 minutes if you want. Those that are finished, you've kind of had a recovery moment leaning back. If you're ready for Shavasana at any point, you just come back inside. So remember, we have to face it, wave the fabric left and right. Turn around, take 5 grips of fabric into our hands. And then we can head on in. This is our final resting pose. Like I said, nobody should feel rushed. If you wanted to be upside down a bit longer, that's fine. And then you can take your Shavasana a little later. That's eventually where we're headed sooner. Remember every step of it. Those that are settling into Shavasana, kind of think of this as a chance for everything to come back into synchronicity. Think of it like upper body and lower body on the same level playing field now. All we have to do is just relax, breathe. Just by us having this little meditative few minutes, this gives us a chance to just feel more integrated, more harmonized, more whole. we're gonna start wrapping up, returning to our body. So just start off with a couple of really good inhales and exhales. Begin to introduce movements to the body. Sometimes it's nice to take that stretch where the arms go to the back wall and shoulders go left and right a couple of times. Other times it's fun to do a fetal position. So the way that we do fetal is we stay in a long position, but we roll onto one side body. So one hip is stacked on top of the other hip. Then from there, you can curl in like a type of a ball, arc back. Sometimes I'll take this 2 or 3 times to one side, then I'll flip, take 2 or 3 times to the other side. We're just doing this until our body feels back to balance. We feel a little bit more awake. So when we feel pretty good, we'll begin to return back to a seated place. So starting to kick the feet free off the front, come up to sit. Whenever we're sitting, sooner or later, we'll join our hands together in front of our heart. We'll reconnect to that idea that you're playing with today, upper body and lower body. Both strengthened, both stretched, all of it feeling good. So with this fun idea, both the and the deeper balance that it can imply, like enlightenment, balancing with manifestation. This balance to lead us on to this awesome weekend. Let's wrap up the time we shared together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.